Hello once again. We're back with more Pioneer, more Dimir Inverter. It's the night before Deckless are due at the PT. If you've watched this series in order, you just saw me 5-0 get a pretty squeaky clean little trophy with Dimir Inverter. I like the main deck configuration quite a bit. Uh, I added Grasp of Darkness over Pack Rat in the sideboard. Uh, this particular build of the list is really light on alternate win conditions. Like, really, it's only Scarab God and Kalitas. Like, I guess technically, Brazen Borrower can deal damage, but an X1 is not going to go coast to coast in Pioneer. But, I'm not super worried about Pack Rat. Grasp of Darkness, Sparling suggested this. He's also working on the deck right now. This kills everything out of the Spirits deck and Torbrand out of red. And I think this card is kind of clunky for what you get, but he's willing to dedicate a slot specifically for matchups and cards he's worried about. So I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm not sold, but whatever. There is a slot available there, so let's test run that. Otherwise, this main deck felt real nice in the last league, so let's just jump into the next one. Alright, here in round one, we're on the play with a perfectly serviceable hand. I'll keep it. I think I'm actually going to lead on Fetid Pools. Because we have Inverter in hand, 3 lands. We don't want to have to opt for lands. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I want to Fatal Push this jerk right now. Like, it looks pretty unassuming, but it can go pretty big. Like, the Spirits deck has to play from ahead to do anything, and I just don't want to let them get there. So with blue, or Island Mutavault, they could have Rattle Chains, Brazen Borrower. I think that's all the cards they could, like, really reasonably have here. I'm gonna opt in case I find a Thoughtseize right now before they hit their 3rd mana. That's also a pretty good one to have. Yeah, there's the Rattle Chains. So now all spirits have flash. That makes things a lot harder. I'm gonna need a Thoughtseize before I make a move, or a second Oracle. I'd be comfortable if I draw Oracle right now to jam Inverter. But short of that, I am gonna want some hand disruption to see what they're up to. Just losing to any single counterspell seems like a really bad idea. Maybe I should Oracle just to not die. Like, save some damage off this Mutavault. Yeah, like if I'm playing to draw a second Oracle anyway, then I should just play out this first one and get some value off it. Fatal Push is pretty good. Like, I wonder if they're mono blue or if they're just color screwed right now. Alright, I will take Fatal Push. Assuming nothing changes, which it probably will, because that's how Magic works. Alright, yeah, so there's another thing. So I was saying that assuming nothing changes, the Fatal Push will remove all damage from the board. So now it'll remove all but 1 damage from the board. And if they have Supreme Phantom, I get a really juicy target out of that. And they shouldn't cast any spells, really. They should just keep attacking. I'm also not going to cast any spells yet. I really want to know what they're up to. Okay, thought erasure is a good draw. Alright, let's erase some thoughts. Then we'll know where this fatal push has to go. And we'll know how clear we are for Inverter. Eagle, 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 eagle. Alright, so lots of blue cards. And Ojutai's command. Which of these do I actually care about? So if they draw a white source, they can just hold up Ojutai's command and I can never win. If they draw a white source and they play eagle, I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 right away. I guess I'll take command and hope for the best. I'm a mana short of fatal pushing my own oracle and then inverting. I think that's a little hopeful. I'll just take out rattle chains right now. That'll save me some damage. Just gotta hope they continue to draw white spells and not white mana. It's not the most sporting of victories, but I will take it if that's the case. Alright, more fatal push. Alright, well. I don't think attacking for 1 does anything. Alright, all in. So I have several cantrips, several removal spells, and oracle in my deck. So if they draw the white land, I could be in trouble. If they continue bricking, I should be able to thread this together in a couple turns. And they can't attack through my 6/6. I'm not going to go on the beatdown, being at 6 and all. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Alright, you can have Selfless Spirit. I can just Fatal Push that. Okay, they're shoving for damage right now. That's pretty smart. Alright, so I'll block Brazen Borrower. And if they sack their Cleric to make this indestructible, I'll kill Mutavault in response. Alright, they're just putting me to 2. I guess I should cast this on something. Probably this. Okay, that was a good draw. So there's the Remorseful Cleric. So I'll block Wanderer and push Mutavault here. Alright, so let's chain some ops together and win. Or I can keep drawing removal, that's cool too. Do I have a way to beat Spell Queller, I guess is my question. Yeah, I have Erasure. Okay. So I just have to keep drawing cards until I find Thought Erasure, and then I can erase them and win in the same turn. Alright, there's the Erasure. Just have to hope they don't have a flash threat right now. Uh-oh, they're tapping mana. Okay, we're dead. So I guess if I had responded to the Selfless Spirit by pushing a creature, I would have 2 more life than I do now. Okay, very dead. Yeah, the having the ops be the bottom 2 cards was tough because we needed to churn through that a little faster, but is what it is. Alright, so Grasp of Darkness is Spirits is the matchup that's for. Alright, so I kind of want to pile up on removal here. I don't actually like Thought Erasure that much. Drown in the Lock also. They don't put cards in their own graveyard. Censor is kind of medium. Jace is a 4 mana clunker. Does this deck play Rest in Peace? Let's find out. Banned Spirits. Uh, this is not Banned Spirits. I want Blue-White Spirits. Alright, so yes, several Rest in Peace in this deck. So Dig Through Time becomes a bit of a liability there. Drown in the Lock's extra bad if they're bringing in Rest in Peace. Scarab God doesn't do anything. Kalitas is pretty good. If I'm just on the full pivot here. Oracle's pretty medium. Omen is medium. Alright, I'm 1 card off here. Alright, I'll cut the last dig and just try to play fair. Yeah, this hand's totally fine. Generally with spirits, you just have to kill their momentum, and then they can't do anything. So next turn I can Thoughtseize with Censor backup. Going into 3 mana is the turn where you're worried about stuff. Alright, so we baited a spell off of that. Remorseful Cleric, Stroke, Double Supreme Phantasm, or Phantom. Alright, Stroke doesn't kill me, and I have 2 Fatal Pushes, so I'm gonna take Remorseful Cleric. Eagle, right off the top. Alright, so I'm gonna Omen, and then Oracle. Alright, Fabled Passage is a good one to find. I don't think I need another Oracle right now. So this will soak up Mutavault damage. More Thoughtseize. No, I don't want those. I gotta get this show on the road. And I'm gonna shuffle the Thoughtseizes back in. I'm just not ready for them yet. Mystical Dispute was the nut draw. Alright, so I should be able to wreck them pretty hard on their own turn here. They played this. Okay. Alright, yep. Played around the Rattle Chains. So their hand is Disdainful Stroke and Supreme Phantom. I'll let Rattle Chains in. Push this. Alright, so I get to push this now and still scry. Though I am under some pressure here. Alright, don't need those. Ooh, Jace Wielder. They have Disdainful Stroke. Oh, I fetched a Swamp last turn. I'm so dumb. Yeah, if I fetched Island last turn, I could just go nuts here. Alright. This one might come down to a punt. I have already messed up once. Yeah, like 2 black is all you ever need. I don't know why I thought I needed a 3rd black. Alright, I'm just gonna concede. I was busy bemoaning my punt and then also F6 through their Lord. Alright. Yeah, so 2 black is all you ever need with this deck. I just got a 3rd black for no reason and then was immediately punished. If I stick Jace there, I guess they drew the Supreme Phantom, which lets them pick off Jace cleanly, but I had no way of knowing that, and I would have been at least up a card and up 5 life for my deal, and they wouldn't have had Disdainful Stroke in their hand anymore. Alright, so we're on the draw with a bit of a clunker, the double Drowned Catacombs in an otherwise pretty great hand. I'm going to keep it. We play a lot of swamps and islands, and even if we don't find one right away, like the first Drowned Catacomb can opt on my second turn and look again. It looks like we're in the mirror. Alright, this is a good hand to get Thoughtseized. It's just 2 pair. They probably take an opt, would be my guess. Though Censor is a point of interaction, but it sees less cards than opt does. Yeah, alright. We're on the same page. Alright, here's Downfall doesn't do much. Or I guess it can kill Jace, which can surprise kill an opponent. Oh no, are they just curving Disruption out on me? Yeah, if they take this opt too, I'm in a bunch of trouble. I kept this hand because opt can save it, but they just curved to discard spell into discard spell. And they like their top card. Alright, so I'm definitely cycling this Censor. Now it fuels the dig through time, and it might help me get a land drop, so there's a lot to like about that. Alright, found another drowned catacombs. We're in business. This feels like playing Esper Hero in like old standard, where if you don't have the Hallowed Fountain or Godless Shrine, just all your lands come into play tapped. Yeah, my opponent just shredding through their deck here. One of the lessons you can learn from Eternal formats is in control or combo mirrors, usually the player who's winning is the person with more cantrips in their graveyard. In here it looks a little less clean than that because I also have several cantrips in my graveyard, but that's because they were put there. Fatal Push is the worst card in your main deck, and I have 3 of them. Yep, there's their dig. Like if they played any creature, like even if they play like Deceiver, or not Deceiver, whatever that is, Inverter, I would just target it with 3 Fatal Pushes just to get them out of my hand. You can target any creature with Push. It just has to cost 2 or less or 4 or less for you to kill it. Alright, moving forward, 1 step closer to dig. Because like if they invert this turn and then pass hoping to win the game, I can like push, dig, find Thoughtseize, and deny them their out. Unless their hand is stacked, which it probably is, because they've cast a million ops and a dig. Alright, here's Jace. Please mill me. Alright, they milled themselves. They know how this works. So I have to downfall this. Like you can't try to get queued and like wait for the inverter and then haha your win condition's gone. Because then you lose. Like Jace just drawing 2 cards a turn is all they need. Alright, now we get to dig. Maybe a Thoughtseize. Alright, so there's a Thoughtseize and an inverter here. It's really important that we have Thoughtseize right now. Because they've sculpted their hands so much. Like we gotta know what's going on. Double inverter, double push, dig. And thought erasure. So if they just invert, that's probably bad for me. So I'm gonna take their dig. Because now their graveyard is full of stuff that they might not actually want. Like if they invert, it's going to be a lot uglier than if they could dig away everything except Jace, then invert, and know for sure they were going to win. Let's see if they take my inverter or my dig. They probably should take my dig. They also have 2 fatal pushes though, so we're almost even on that misery. Omen of the Sea would be a pretty exciting draw here. I have the full 5 mana to just see 5 new cards. Jace would be my favorite draw though. Come on, Jace. Alright, that's not Jace. This deck can get pretty mana hungry, so I'm going to play out my land even though it gives them perfect information. no, this is a Jace. Yeah, now we're probably dead. I already exiled my one way to kill a Planeswalker in the main deck. Alright, now they're milling me, so they are trying to control their graveyard. Let's draw a Dig into Oracle. Alright, so this is a case of just our opponent drew better cards for the matchup than we did. And in the mirror, that's kind of what you sign up for. Yeah, they can invert fearlessly here, because they have a win con in play and another one in the graveyard. So as long as they don't mill their Jace, they can win next turn. Like they can minus Jace, so they draw, they're at 4 cards, minus Jace, they're at 1 card, play the other Jace. Alright, yeah, we're just dead. Yeah, they drew 2 Jaces, a bunch of cantrips, 3 discard spells, and I did not. And that's about what the mirror comes down to a lot of the time. Alright, so I cut the 5th discard spell from this, or the 6th discard spell from the sideboard, and it's really good in the mirror, so I'm gonna make a note that I want that back. Yeah, so I do want an erasure in the board. I was just thinking, like, we're gonna be control decks anyway, but obviously the mirror is gonna be pretty popular, and that's the most important thing, discard spells. Uh, Brazen Borrower, counter spells. If I had a Thief of Sanity, I'd bring it in, but that's not a card I play. Hero's Downfall, kill their Jace is a big deal. Drown in the Lock is kind of tough because if they dig their graveyard away, like Drown can never counter Dig, and Dig makes it so Drown won't counter anything else for a few turns, but it is pretty good in the mid game, like the space after cantripping and before digging. Do I want Brazen Borrower? What does that even do? I don't think so. Alright, here's my deck. Maybe I want Scarab God in the mirror. Oh, this hand is great, except it only has 1 land. Fuck. Well, what happens if they thought sees me? I lose opt. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna send dispute to the bottom. And there's 24 more lands in my deck. Slightly worse than 50-50 to hit one. If I do hit one and I can omen. Alright, they had turn 1 Thoughtseize again. But my hand all does the same thing. Like they can take opt if they're trying to screw me off my second land. They can take omen if they're trying to make my hand bad once I hit it. Alright, let's just draw the land, omen, and be off to the races. Easy game. So they've seen the sensor. I can play around Thought Erasure here. Alright, I'm gonna play Omen in response here. I can scry the card I actually want second from the top. I actually just kind of want all these lands. Or I'll take one of the lands. Alright, I think at this point they take Dig. Unless they have Thief of Sanity, then Censor is the take. We're in another game where they've cast 2 Thoughtseizes to my 0. Which is never where you want to be. Alright, I'll just look at my top 3, see if I can find a Jace. Alright, I did indeed find a Jace. Alright, so I could ram this Jace into Censor. They can't drown it in the lock. I'm gonna cycle Censor. That way I know I have the Jace, and then if I draw a discard spell, I could cast it. Alright. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Like, they could have Mystical Dispute or Censor for this, pretty much. If it resolves, I'm gonna mill myself to fuel this dig. Wow, didn't expect that to happen. Alright, so I've resolved the best card in the matchup. Alright, they killed my poor little Oracle. Yeah, so if I had one more card in my graveyard coming into this turn, I wouldn't have cycled Censor, because that would have turned on Drown. But I only had 2, so going up to 3 is fine. And Jace lives to fight another day. Okay. So I don't really want to fuel their dig, but I'm done putting cards in my graveyard. Maybe not, maybe it's fine. I think I can do it one more time. So I can dig on their end step, or I could dig now, try to find Thoughtseize. That makes sense to my brain. So they can't dispute or supreme will this. Oh, they're digging in response. Okay. So if they find dispute, they can spew it to protect themselves from Thoughtseize. I can't imagine that play is good though. Thoughtseize, Thoughtseize, Oracle. I actually just want 2 Thoughtseizes. Can't dispute this because it's not blue. Oracle, Oracle, opt, drown. I'm going to take the opt, and then I can Thoughtseize plus invert next turn. Called Ipnu Rivulet, the techie land that I don't have. I wonder if that's good in the mirror. Like if they can just hold that and wait for me to make a move. How did they find a Jace too? Oh, they're just hitting themselves with Ipnu. Did they draw a dig? Is that what that means? Okay, so if they dig into land Thoughtseize, our plan is back to nothing. Alright, so we gotta dodge land Thoughtseize here. Or they already played land, I don't even care. I think I just win. So if I invert, I'll have 4 cards in my deck. I can mill 2, draw 1. Okay, so what happens here? If I invert and then I mill 2, draw 1, if I hit opt, I have to wait another turn. If I hit oracle, I win. It might be better to just Thoughtseize them again, see what's going on. Alright, so they found a Jace of their own and an inverter. Alright, so I'm going to take their inverter. Then I'm going to flip myself. I'm going to Jace myself. Alright, I drew opt. That's a pretty good one. So I just have to hope they can't kill Jace right now, pretty much. Alright, this looks pretty desperate. And this just doesn't do anything. Like, even if they found the perfect card, it's on top of the deck, it's not in their hand. So I think I do want the Scarab God in the mirror, because I can just gank combo pieces out of their graveyard. On the draw sensor might be worse. Well, Mystical Dispute's not really an all-star, but I think I like all the other cards here better than Sensor. Alright, so we got another handful of cantrips. The mana's better this time, no discard spells, but once again, I'll keep the handful of cantrips. Because, like, I have Jace in my hand, which is really good, but, like, this hand doesn't collapse to discard, which is important. Because if our opponent has shown us anything, it's that they draw a lot of discard spells. Like so. So I'm sure Jace is going to eat shit here. Unless they want to try to fight over these ops, which seems crazy to me. Alright, so they don't know about this Thoughtseize. I can set up a Thoughtseize plus opt next turn. Unless they have another discard spell. They mulliganed on the play though, so we are just up 2 cards, naturally. Jace Prince Prodigy, alright. I have Hero's Downfall for that. Though it is a good one. That's not a card I'm playing. Dig through time, dig through time. I'll take dig through time. I'm gonna opt. I'm really in the market for more land. Alright, sweet. We're set up. So this Jace can loot once, and then I can just kill it. So they must have drawn another land. Recycling fetid pools. Okay. Alright, so we know their whole hand. I have to kill this thing before it becomes a planeswalker. They get to dig next turn, but it's whatever. The cards from dig will be the 2 of the 3 cards in their hand when that's all over. It's right to shock there to leave up a mana when you're done digging, because if you dig into Thoughtseize or Opt, you just want to cast it, and your life total doesn't matter in the matchup. Alright. We worked through all the cards we knew about. I don't need another one of those. Omen's a great draw. Because they know about Censor, so if they play around it, I get to cast Omen. I'll Omen in response to this. Because Omen is actually the most important card in my hand. Okay, yeah, if this is the fight they want to have, I'm not mad about that. Like, if I could cast Omen of the Sea as Duress and take Mystical Dispute out of their hand, I would. Yeah, taking Oracle makes sense. It's a combo piece. It also sees the most cards. Ooh, they had an Omen. That's a good way to break parity here. How about I just rip Jace right off the top? Yeah. So they put one on top, one on bottom. Best card. And I'm gonna attack their graveyard. Like, I'm kind of fueling their digs, but I want to keep my graveyard under control in case I draw Inverter of Truths. I don't want to just have this enormous graveyard. Are they thinking about Thoughtseizing me? They're like, what are the odds he drew Inverter? 100%. Have you played against me? Yeah, there's a dig. They wouldn't have been able to cast that if I didn't hit their graveyard. Noteworthy. Maybe I should just start milling myself. Like, if nothing else happens for the rest of this game, Jace milling me will just win the game. So they dug through time. I'll start milling me. Yeah, finding a discard spell here would be pretty big. Don't want any of that. So I can still censor a Jace until they hit their land drop. I wonder if it's better to scry 2 or draw 1 here. Probably scry 2. Yeah. Those are pretty good too to find. I'm gonna mill them this time, now that I have a plan. So I could slam this inverter. They can't censor it. They can totally drown it through in the lock though. So 1, 2. I've cast 2 Thought Seizes. I have 3 discard spells left in my deck. Yeah, I really want to find a discard spell before I try to make a move with this inverter. If it gets countered, then we're just tapped out on their turn. Alright, they liked one of these cards they found. We milled their hero's downfall. That's lucky. This hero is our only plan. There's still 3 mystical disputes in my deck, so if they like slam inverter here, I can censor, or I can cycle censor to try to find it. Alright, I think censor is done being a good card, so I'm going to cycle it in the end step here. Perfect. Alright, they drowned that in the lock, which clears the way for this. Unless they have another counterspell. Yeah, if they have mystical dispute here, and whatever, they're still getting chunked by Jace. Alright, I'll just look at my top 5 cards and try to do that again. Push my advantage here. Ooh, baby. Yeah, I'll leave the Scarab God on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Can't quite activate it right away, but it will cause lots of problems for my opponent. My hero. Alright, so they have an Oracle, Jace, Dig, Opt. Alright, so there is an Oracle in their graveyard. Now I'm glad I targeted them for a while. So I could draw 7 and just try to turtle up and not lose. They only had 1 Oracle in there. There's another Jace in my deck. They could be trying to beat me down here. I guess they're about to slap Jace for 6 anyway. Let's just draw 7. Alright, so my deck is stacked full of ways I can still win. So let's put him in. And they're at 10, so I'm actually way better at this beatdown plan than they are. I'm going to attack with both creatures. They have to block the inverter, so this is a free damage, and like damage has suddenly become a reasonable plan to win this game. I can still cast both my counter spells if I Scarab God here. Alright, that dies, and then it comes back to my hand in the end step. That's not what I'm going to spend a Mystical Dispute on. That's really not what this game is about. I believe they have one win condition left in their deck. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like it's. Like, I don't think they have any lands, so Dispute plus Censor should be a pretty solid lock. Uh, Oracle for. Alright, so once this Oracle's in the graveyard, I can reanimate it with Scarab God and possibly win the game. Alright, I can opt here because they're tapped out, it's free to do. Inverter. Okay, so I just win, right? Yeah, so I invert and then I reanimate this, and then my 4-card deck versus my devotion to 5. And Scabby G taking it over. It's a black card with devotion to blue. That's great. GG. That was a sweet game. Scarab God really took that over. I'm impressed. Alright, so we're here for round 3. We're on the draw with a hand with lands and spells in it. Looks like another mirror. Feel like Jace is going to hit the bin. Luckily I have 2 of the most important cards in the matchup, but Jace is definitely the better one. Oh wow, they went with Dig. Okay. That was a good draw. Let's hope we get there. Alright, so I'm going to play around center by playing my untapped land, then seizing their thoughts. Your life total doesn't really matter in this matchup, especially in game 1. Oh, I got drowned. Alright. Whatever. That works. Alright, so I'm going to play my land. I'm not going to cycle Censor because 4 mana is when everything horrible happens. Like, Inverter and Jace both cost 4. So, gotta leave up this Censor. At least one more turn. I think I have to cycle it here, because getting to 4 mana is pretty important, and if they have a 5th land, it's a brick anyway. Alright, there's my 4th land. Alright, that was a good draw. I'm gonna sack Fabled Passage first, because if I keep a card on top, I'm gonna want to know. I want to leave it there, I don't want to fetch it away. Inverter, push, opt, Oracle. I'm taking the Inverter. That's the best card by a lot. There's an Inverter on top of my deck. I'm going to leave that there. And I'm going to run out my Oracle. And I already know what's there. Like, if I find a land, I might... Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. That's fine. So they have opt Oracle. They're about to opt. They kept it on top. Top the op. Alright, they found a Jace. Alright, what are you going to do with it? Mill me. Alright, yeah, I did just leave a card on top, so that makes sense. Alright, I'll get my Jace down when it's safe right here. And I'll mill you. So we milled Dig and Erasure. Those are good cards to get rid of. Though if they dig into land Inverter here, we lose. Okay, the truth is getting inverted. But so is mine. The race is on. So I can Fatal Push this right now, and it goes into the deck with the rest of the cards. But that gives them multiple draws to win on the spot. Yeah, a second Inverter. Like, Inverter into Inverter when you already have Jace is actually just horrifying. Well, the race is on, and I'm currently losing it. Guess I have to spike a Thoughtseize here. I should have fetched first. I'm so dumb. Alright. Yeah, so this land doesn't do anything. And they get to just mill for, yeah, alright, I'm dead. I feel like I probably messed that game up somewhere. Like if I was less afraid to just go for it, I would have won. Yeah, I gotta get over that. Just jam it. Alright, so answer Jace, counter spells, a backup plan. Fatal push can get out. And one of the sensors. Like I don't even really care if they do have little Jace, probably. Like maybe it takes over the game, maybe they draw it on turn 3 when it's just kind of awkward. Maybe I have Mystical Dispute for it, who knows. Like Fatal Push is just so bad in the matchup that I can't justify having it in, just in case they have Jace. Like most lists only play 1 or 2 in the board, so they have to like A board it in, which they will if they have it. This is mostly what it's for. And then they have to draw it on time, in time that I care about it. Yeah, that's not worth having a stone brick in your deck for. Yes, I'd like to play first. This hand's pretty good. I'll keep it. Like this is the kind of hand that doesn't care if it gets Thoughtseized, because every card does the same thing. And if they don't have Thoughtseize, I just get to cantrip and sculpt my hand. If they do have it, whatever. They probably just take Mystical Dispute here, because I have these two cards are the same. I mean, they could take Opt to like hurt my mana, but Omen of the Sea is a better Opt. And I'll just do that next turn. Alright. They kind of split the difference there. I'm not sure if I agree with that. Nice. The nuts. Thoughtseize you, hold up Mystical Dispute. Alright, so they have another Thoughtseize and then removal spells. I'm not gonna Mystical Dispute this Oracle, they can't cast it anyway. Like, I'm literally only targeting Jace with Mystical Dispute. Or Inverter, I guess, if they give me the chance. Drown's pretty dope. Yeah, so we're just cruising our way along to this dig through time. I'll eventually cast it, it'll be real good. So I can Thoughtseize dig right now. Alright, so they found a dispute. I'll take that so I can dig. Yeah, this hand has come together pretty nicely. Alright, so Inverter plus Oracle. No, I want Jace. Inverter and Jace. I guess with Hero's Downfall in their hand, I probably shouldn't have gotten Jace. That was a little loose. Got so excited. Booty blind. Yeah, I should have taken Oracle. So I need to get one more mana, then I can play Jace, because I'll have Drown in the Log back up. We're on a 16 turn clock from this Oracle. So I'm not going to fetch now because I do want to draw lands. Alright, now I'll fetch. So I can play Inverter right now with Counterspell backup, and then I have 2 ways to win the game next turn. Yeah, if they did draw Mystical Dispute, they have to hardcast it because this is not blue, and then I can dispute back and they don't have 3 mana to protect. And then next turn I can just Oracle with Drown back up. And we're Gucci. The shit is this? Oh, dig through time? No. I am not fucking with that. Okay, they have 2 removal spells in their hand. Unless their literal top of their deck is Jace, we're gonna win. Okay, so we are gonna have to wait another turn because if they kill Oracle in response to the trigger, there's still a card in my deck. And that's no good. Smash. Yeah, we can drown a Thoughtseize. We don't really care about anything else in their hand. Can't drown a Thought Erasure. I guess I should have just drowned that Opt. Like, that's deterministic. Yeah, that was loose. If they opt into Jace, we're dead. But now we can protect the Oracle with Drown. And we're at 0 cards, so it doesn't have to survive. Alright, that game could have been played tighter. Learning lessons here. Really wish I had another discard spell on the board for the mirror. I'm gonna make that happen before I play this deck again. Alright, this hand is fine. I'll keep it. Alright, Fitted Pools. Alright, I'd rather get my Opt train rolling here. Once again, for the millionth time, life total doesn't matter, so shocking in a land here, not a big deal. So I'll just let this resolve. Like, opting in response isn't even useful because if I find a card I want, then they just take that with Thoughtseize. But I think they're just going to take my Scarab God. Just get that guy out of the mix. Well, I was wrong. Nice. Inverter, Jace, Oracle. Wow, that's a good hand. Well, this is tough because Jace can win the game without Inverter, but Inverter just shuffles Jace back into the deck for later. Unless they foolishly put a card in their graveyard somehow so I can drown and lock Jace. This is just going to be a bad deal for me. Guess I have to take the inverter. At least I have a chance against Jace. But like they just have a straight line to their combo if I don't do that. They had a really good hand. Come on, Mystical Dispute off the top. Or Censor. Opt. Alright. So you're saying there's a chance. Thoughtseize, Censor, Mystical Dispute. Do I just have a straighter line to the combo then? So what happens if I do this? They're going to draw a bunch of extra cards. Alright, Motobug. So I could Oracle now and have something in play to pressure Jace a little bit, and this might be able to find. Alright, yeah, they've seen my hand. Like, I'm not bluffing anything here. Unless they like end stepped opt, then I would have got them, but they don't seem like an idiot. So I'm looking for Hero's Downfall. No, I don't want these cards. Good thing I didn't want those cards. They were getting milled anyway. Alright, so right on time Thought Erasure. Oh, you have your own Scarab God, you dirty beast. Jace, Mystical Dispute. I have to take their Scarab God. I'm dead if I don't. Do I want Thoughtseize? I mean, kinda, but they're gonna mill me anyway. Alright, yeah, I'll just leave it there. It's getting milled anyway. I want a land, really. I guess I need 2 lands now. Several lands now that they have Mystical Dispute. Oh, milling yourself. Interesting. I kept a card on top with Oracle and they milled themselves. So I can Thoughtseize their Dispute. Oh, Inverter. So they can dispute this. Dispute my Drown. And then I lose. So their hand is just... Oh, there's only one Oracle here. So... Top of my deck is Thoughtseize. Guess I have to let this resolve. And then I Thoughtseize the Oracle. I gotta hope to draw several good cards here. Because Jace is gonna... So like I have to rip Hero's Downfall. Yeah, it has to be Hero's Downfall. Just right off the top. Thoughtseize me. Well, they're gonna take it anyway. We might as well get the Mystical Dispute out of their hand. No, not interested. I mean, I'm dead in 2 hits to this inverter, and I'm dead in 2 turns to Jace, so I'm just very dead here. Yeah, their hand was really good this game. It just had like Thoughtseize and then 3 lines to victory through my Thoughtseize. And like, it doesn't even matter if I draw Hero's Downfall now because they can just. Ugh. I mean, they had Mystical Dispute. They can also just attack me for 6. So dead in every direction. All right. So I want more in the board. I already have this note here, but I want to make sure I don't lose the mirror in most circumstances. So that's definitely my next step in tuning. This hand is fine. Like, if Fetid Pools was not a cycle land, this hand would be unkeepable. And it might be unkeepable anyway. But I'm keeping it. Like, I'm gonna turn to Oracle for some selection. Oh, it's just the mirror again. I'm ready for the PT. Just train me in the mirror. Yeah, I'll take Opt. Gives me additional selection and fills my graveyard for dig. Yeah, nice Thoughtseize. My hand sucks. Gotcha. I'm opting now in case I find a Thoughtseize of my own. Alright, they're on a 16 turn clock. If I can stop them from comboing, I'm gonna win. If I didn't have Fetid Pools, I would have opted that turn also. Wow, right in the main deck. Sure, whatever. Ooh, Sensor's pretty good. So if they go for Jace this turn, I can censor it. If they go for Inverter, they can Liliana the Inverter back to their hand. So that's awfully good. And if they just do nothing, I'll just downfall Lily. They shocked that in. Alright, just kidding. I'm gonna downfall that. Shit. Punished. Alright, what are you working with? Drown, dig, Oracle. Definitely taking their dig. Yeah, this Liliana's gonna kill me. Okay, cool. I was about to say I hope they minus their Liliana at some point, because if they just like tick 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 zombie army, I'm dead. So I could push now. I'm gonna cycle Sensor and see what happens. Like, Sensor is past its prime here. By leaving up a ton of mana and 2 cards in hand, I might be able to fool them here to like respect my combo with Drown in the Lock, and Fatal Push will resolve. Alright. I couldn't fool them. Guess there's nothing to fool because once Jace flips, they're just Planeswalker control. They can make Thassa's Oracle so small. Yeah, flashing back Dig Through Time is pretty nice. Yeah, if only I had perfect foresight, I could have killed this and then drawn Abrupt Decay for Jace, and then we'd have the same board except I'd have a creature and they don't. Alright, yeah, I'm not winning this game. I guess, hold on, hold my horses. Dig Through Time is a card in my deck. I guess I could still go off. I gotta slow it down. Inverter. They can mill 2 with Liliana Cat. Okay, now I'm actually dead. Come on, Moto, wake up. Alright. Well, we've done this a few times now. They show me Baby Jace in the main, so I wonder if that changes my interest in Fatal Push. Maybe I should leave like 1 in. But Jace is going to give me a 1-turn window to kill it, so maybe I should just have 0. Mystical Dispute, Hero's Downfall, count on those. So on the play I have Censor, but I don't think that's real good either. Yeah, I'll keep this hand with 2 ops, the whole combo, and dig. That doesn't cast Thoughtseize. I do want more lands. I'm gonna need them. So I could have played Watery Grave tapped there. Playing it untapped bluffs that I have something that costs 2. But if they go like land Thoughtseize and just see my hand, then it doesn't matter what I bluff. Like so. I suspect they'll take dig, but opt is also a reasonable choice. Censor. Alright, so I can use all my mana this turn. Just hope they jam Liliana the Last Hope again. Or Jay's Friend's Prodigy get fucked. Alright, Censor exists to punish players who miss their 3rd land drop. So I can't actually shove Inverter here because then I lose to Thoughtseize. I do kind of want to push against this. Do I want a second Inverter? I don't think so. Alright, I will take 2 damage to bluff something now. Shit. Bluff punished. Straw dig. Alright, so there are 6 cards in my graveyard. So I can dig and play around Mystical Dispute, which they almost certainly have. Alright, Thoughtseize Jace is pretty good. I'll Thoughtseize now to check the way. Liana, Murderous Rider, Mystical Dispute. Alright, so they do have Dispute. I'm gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm a little far away from playing around Dispute forever. Yeah, so I'll take that. It's also the card they can cast. So let's hope they just whiff on lands again. Then I can go to Jace Town. Oh, that's my favorite town. How did you draw another Dispute, you savage? Alright. Alright, so my plan to line up against this Murderous Rider with just another Jace. Less good than I hoped. Alright, surely you didn't draw another one. Thank you. Alright, so they can already cast Dig, so I'm just going to mill them to control my own graveyard size. I guess I can Omen now while I know it's going to resolve. If they miss their land drop one more time and I can hold up this Dispute, we're just Fonzie. Nice. Show me your secrets. Oracle, Rider, Liliana, double Inverter, Dig. I'm gonna take Murderous Rider. Put that into my graveyard. Put those into your graveyard. Ooh, the god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm not ready to Scarab God yet. I'll do it next turn, and then we should be able to win pretty easily. Just stealing 4/4 Murderous Riders out of their deck, or out of their graveyard. I'm not going to counter Opt, because I have enough things I can do with the Opt. Or with, like, if I counter the Opt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I counter the Opt, then and they just draw a land anyway and jam a 3-drop, then I wasted my Mystical Dispute. God. Inverter, that's pretty bold. I guess they kind of had to do that. All right, so what's in their hand still? Another Inverter, a Jace, and an Oracle. All right, Censor plus Dispute against this deck with no cards, with no mana is a pretty big deal. Yeah, I think I want to just mill them out. Or I could... No, I'm just going on the beatdown plan. I may still mill them out, but I'm also on the beatdown plan. One, two, three, two. I'm not going to opt. I want to hold up some options here. Options. I'm sure they'll concede to this Censor here. The second Inverter is pretty bold. I can just like regrow Jace in response, and I have a 4/4. They take one. Whatever, I'll just censor it. They're dead either way. I'm just showing off. Like, I could reanimate their Jace and just attack for lethal. I could reanimate their Inverter and ultimate Jace for lethal, or I could counter their spell. I was very well set up to win that game. Alright, they also have Murderous Rider. Murderous Rider is probably better in this mirror because it's an extra card added onto your hero's downfall, just like an extra body. But it's way worse against aggro, which is why I'm not playing it. Thinking if I want a single Fatal Push in the deck. I just really don't think that I do. This hand isn't great. This one's much worse. Fine. Alright, so I gotta get rid of two of these. Swamp and Drown are out of here. Alright, so we're in a ton of trouble. Mull to 5. If we get Thoughtseize, we just lose Jace and then everything's over. Alright. That was the best draw. So we can see what they're up to. Protect our hand. Inverter, Disdainful Stroke. I'm going to take Inverter. So they have two answers to Jace, but no threats of their own. So that's cool. Alright, so we can start coming up with a plan to get this Jace into play. I'd rather Omen of the Sea this turn and Thoughtseize next turn when I have more information. They have more chances to draw relevant cards. Bottom both of these. Alright, seizing now when they're going into 4 mana, like if I can get a Jace out of their hand. Digs. Alright, so I'd rather take the cantrip and then fight through the counters and removal that I know about. Alright, so They have 3 counter spells for my 3 threats, so I'm gonna have to Omen of the Sea in their end step to scry 2. Look for some action. Okay, so that can regrow Inverter. But it does mean that if I scry into a Thoughtseize here, I can... Nope. I need another mana for that. Never mind. I was about to say if I scry into Thoughtseize, I can Jace, but that's not even true. Is this good? What does this do? I'm going to keep it. So we know their hand is Inverter plus these 3 cards. If they invert next turn, there's just a Jace in their deck to win with. And I can try to pick it off. They can also just sit on this Liliana and counter spells for the entire game and just win with a zombie army. And I think they'll be perfectly happy with that. I could also fire off this Hero's Downfall right now and try to bait their Mystical Dispute. I'm going to do that. I got to work through these things. Like, these Jaces are how I'm going to win this game. Alright, that's fine. Nope. Bottom that. Okay, so now theoretically Thoughtseize can get a Jace to stick, at least briefly. Oh wow, they just YOLO'd their Liliana and milled 2 creatures. There were not any creatures in the graveyard when they did that. Alright, so there's Oracle and Jace are going into the deck right now. Come on, Thoughtseize. Okay. Begin the parade. So they'll stroke this. Yeah, I think that showed up a turn too late. Or we can just hope that the Oracle and the Jace take a while to show up. Alright, they bottomed. Jace burns Prodigy. Okay, so they can shred through their deck really quickly here, actually. Oh, Liliana, geez. Alright, so my plan is to play Jace and just mill their win cons, both of them. That's pretty good, though. Alright, I got one of them. Shit, I got the one that can't get disputed here. Ugh. Yeah, so they minus Liliana. Alright, they don't even have to. I'll scare them. Yeah, so if I... No, it didn't matter, because if I milled Oracle, they just minus Liliana and get it back. Yeah, I was just dead there. I guess I had to, like, mill Jace. Ooh. They're taking their time. Please pass the turn. Don't go for Oracle. Okay, so if they don't have a counterspell in the graveyard. Okay, they're just doing it. That was weird. Oh, there was a Mystical Dispute. One of the cards in their hand is Mystical Dispute, I think. Okay. Yeah, they had that deterministically in a variety of directions. Alright, another loss to the mirror. Like I said, I'm not configured correctly to beat the mirror, and need to work on that. Alright, we're on the play, keeping this hand. We have Thoughtseize, Omen. Figure it out from there. I'll take 4, hope you're not burned. Alright, Spirits. Wow, double main deck Spell Pierce, what's wrong with you? Who hurt you? Alright, I'll take this Phantom. I wonder if this is mono blue, or if their hand is just real weird. Hopefully this Fatal Push will get a tasty little 2-for-1 off a Curious Obsession at some point. I'm not going to cast this Omen of the Sea into their double Spell Pierce. Like, I want to make them commit to something and have a little fight first. Now it'll take 2 Spell Pierces to counter my Omen. That's a good place to be. Alright, Spectral Sailor. So, these are the lands I knew about. Alright, so they're gonna get curious here. Alright, so I'm gonna let this connect. And then I'll just play a flurry of spells in their end step. Like I can push plus Omen in their end step. They'll have to spend 2 Spell Pierces if they want to counter this. So I'll do that. They pierce, I pay, they pierce, it's gone, and then I untap and Hero's Downfall. Rattle Chains. Wow, that's so much worse than everything I said. Alright, let's see if they'll Spell Pierce this. I'm gonna have to get through these eventually. Okay, so the Omen didn't find anything of use. They're gonna get to counter this with Rattle Chains. But I'm untapping on 5 mana here, so the Hero's Downfall will do its job. Oh, I also just have this. Maybe I just do this. Yeah, I think I just do this. Can't Spell Pierce this shit. I guess I gotta hope they don't play any hard counters because I just lose to that. But whatever. Here we are. 2 cards in hand, or 3 cards in hand, 2 of them are Spell Pierce. And I can block Spectral Sailor. Alright, they didn't attack, so Curious Obsession just dies. Oh my god, I'm so perfect at this game. Seize him. Them. Whoever they are. So I can pay for 1 Spell Pierce. I could just pay for both of them. Just make sure the hand is clear. I guess it doesn't matter. If they spell pierce again, oh, they have that also. Yeah, I'll just Oracle. Oh, that was probably pretty bad. If they have a hard counter, I lose now because they still have the spell pierce. I needed to pay for Thoughtseize if I wanted to be super safe. Oh, okay. Whew. That was scary. Alright, I don't care about Unsubstantiate. They have to mill me for 1 somehow to win this game. Spell Pierce and 1 mystery card in hand. Oh no. Oh, yeah. Okay. Unsubstantiate is not actually a counterspell. Alright, powered through mono blue spirits. So, bring in my removal spells. Cry of the Carnarium seems better than average against this particular deck. Every creature we saw, they had Supreme Phantom, but every other creature was X1 or X2. Brazen Bar is pretty good. Mystical Dispute. Oh god, I'm not bringing in all these cards. I'm gonna have to choose. So Jace is clunky. Dig's clunky. I don't think I'm gonna censor anything this game. They're not putting cards in their graveyard. They don't have any creatures on the ground. A 2-mana spell, not really where I want to be. 2 more cards if I want to do all this. Maybe I don't want Cry of the Carnarium. Or maybe I do. No, that's a 3-mana spell that might, if they have 2 lords or like Lord plus 1/1 with Curious Obsession, then that all gets pretty bad. Intervention's also pretty clunky. Alright. These are the cards I have now. Alright, so I have a hand chock full of removal. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to leave up this Fatal Push. I don't want to get wrecked by a end step flash creature plus Curious Obsession. I'm just going to pick it off. Like, I don't want to let them do like Obsession plus Spell Pierce on their turn. They must have kept a Obsession hand. It's like, I can't imagine what else. Like, the 1 land, flash creature, Obsession has to be their hand. I'll show them the swamp. Like, I don't want to get got by a Spell Pierce. Like, if they go land creature and have Spell Pierce back up for my dispute, not where I want to be. Alright, now we're playing a flash game. I'm gonna kill this rather than try to counter it. Because I can't grasp of darkness a future spell pierce, but I can grasp this creature right now. I'm not gonna cast Omen. My goal is to just not run anything into Spell Pierce ever. Alright, I have 2 of these now. I'd like to get on board. Yeah, let's keep that on top. Dig. I'm not quite at dig mana yet. But I like the idea of digging next turn. And I have this Brazen Borrower that can mess up a Curious Obsession. Like, they can sack Mausoleum Wanderer and counter this. Okay, that's in. This will actually be kind of interesting. Do they want the 1/1 in their hand and me have a 3/1 in the future, or do they just want to counter this now and so I never get a 3/1? Oh, that's a good answer. Got me. Alright, so they've connected. Alright, let's just hope they don't draw a land right now. Just like having 1 blue up makes everything so much harder. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we can play around Mausoleum Wanderer. Like, removal spell is insane here. If they try to counter it, that's also insane. Thoughtseize is definitely one of them that I want. Do I want Omen or a 3rd Oracle? Probably a 3rd Oracle. So I'm going to scry in the end step here, and then I'll Thoughtseize Inverter all in 1 turn. It would be pretty embarrassing to lose this game at this point, I'm not going to lie. They just did nothing for so many turns. I mean, we're not in danger of losing this game, don't get me wrong. We're way ahead. But they're starting to do what they want. Like, if I can scry into a Mystical Dispute and just have Inverter or Thoughtseize Inverter with Dispute backup, that's interesting. Fatal Push is really good. Jace is not. You'll never hear me say that again. Alright, so I'll Thoughtseize first. See what they're up to. See if they want to sack this to counter Thoughtseize, save me a Fatal Push. Yeah, I'll pay like basically any tax here to get this Thoughtseize to resolve. Alright, so the Thoughtseize was good for 3 cards and cleared the way for this Fatal Push. Alright, Fatal Push is countered. Or Thoughtseize is countered, extra countered. So I don't think I'm even gonna invert. Like, I could just beat down here. No, that's dumb. I'm gonna invert. Shut up, Brian. Like, I can play around Mystical Dispute pretty easily here. Yeah, I'll just pass the turn to play around Mystical Dispute. Like, Unsubstantiate is not even close to being a good card here. Alright, don't care about that. I think they're also dead to combat damage, for what that's worth. I'll bash and see if they make any decisions based on that. Just in case their devotion to blue matters, or if like having a creature in play matters. Okay. I've got another one. Alright, so that league was a little rougher. We played against the Mirror twice and lost to Blue-White Spirits. Beat Mono Blue Spirits. Alright, so I need to put Thought Erasure on the board immediately. Erebos' Intervention is the least established card in this pile right now. So I'll get another one of those on the board, and I'll spend tomorrow, like, tomorrow's my last day to really work on this deck. Deck lists are due midnight tomorrow at the time of this recording, so I'm just going to put a ton of theory crafting into how we can crack this mirror match, because that's really all I'm worried about at this point. If I can beat mono red in the mirror, then I'll be set for constructed. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out for another 2 hours. This is a lot of blue-black inverter on my channel lately. I hope you're getting a lot out of it. As always, thanks for checking it out. Follow me on Twitter at Bosch and Roll, and I'll see you next time.